What is going on, guys? Rogue TCG here, bringing the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG deck profile. Now, this week I asked my Discord, what fruity decks would you like me to cover? And today I am answering at least one of those, being Neos. Now, Neos has a long history of being fruity AF. Of course, I mean, looking at its art, even though this is the alt art, you can kind of tell there's a little something going on there. But also in archetype, and I guess in anime archetype, I don't know if this is really in the Neos archetype, we have the U-Bells as well. So I wanted to conglomerate Neos' entire history in this one deck list. And so today I bring to you Neos? Like, we're including hero stuff, we're including evil hero stuff, we're including U-Bells and then generic fusion cards in order to basically just go through every single Neos fusion, ideally, or every single hero fusion, or, you know, whatever can fit our board state. And so the idea of this deck is that we can make cards like Rainbow Neos, Neos Kluger, or our U-Bell cards in order to make the most inclusive end board. So that's enough yapping about the overall deck profile. Let's go through the card by card and just the ideas of like putting the cards in here, and then see if we can maybe win a game on ranked. Now, before we get into the actual video and deck profile, though, I wanted to just be clear, this is not like a real deck, like, at all. This deck sucks, like, genuinely, it is not good at all. I'm not expecting to win any games with this deck, and you shouldn't either. Although it is a very nice conglomeration of all the cards that can sometimes work together in a good way in order to actually make a decent end board. So, starting off our list, we're on double copies of Neos himself. There's a lot of different ways we can get him. He's a hero, he's a high level hero, so we can send him off something like Fusion Destiny. Of course, we can send him off Neos Fusion. We can special summon him from deck with Fusion Deployment, etc, etc. There's a lot of ways to get to him, so we're not really super concerned about maxing out on him, but we do want to make sure we're playing more than one. We're on the Brick Neos Wiseman. We're ideally going to be summoning this from deck with Neos Kluger if our opponent will ever, like, remove it, which they probably won't, but you know, it's funny to have the option there. We're also on Rainbow Dark Dragon as the best version of Rainbow Dragon in order to make our Rainbow Neos, which is also quite nice. Notably, Rainbow Neos has to be fusion summoned with the Rainbow Dark Dragon and a Neos specifically, because it needs Elemental Hero Neos or an Ultimate Crystal monster. Which I found out in testing because Dead End Prison can become like any other name, which is convenient for some of our other fusions, just not for Rainbow Neos. We're on triple copies of Neos Fusion, allowing us to fusion summon a monster from our extra deck that lists exactly 2 monsters, including Neos' material, by sending them from our hand back or our field and ignoring summoning conditions. First of the turn after this card resolves, we're locked out as special summoning monsters. For the fusion summon monster we control that lists Neos as its material to be destroyed by battle or card effect, we can shuffle or shuffled into the extract by its own effect. We can banish this card from our graveyard instead. Now, this is not just useful for, of course, Rainbow Neos, but we can use this card in order to summon out our Neos Kluger, as well as Brave Neos, which is quite useful. We're also on Fusion Destiny, functionally the same thing as Neos Fusion, except it uses Destiny Heroes instead in order to make a Destiny Hero Fusion monster, or at least a Fusion monster that mentions a Destiny Hero as material, or we're locked into Dark Heroes for the rest of the turn, which we can make work with our Evil Hero Neos Lord. But Fusion Destiny is really fantastic. Of course, you all know that it allows us to access DPE, one of the best in archetype hero disruption cards. We're also on triple copies of A Hero Lives in order to special summon Stratos from our deck in order to get our combo started with an extra body on board, which is pretty important sometimes. For our Destiny Hero, for our Fusion Destiny, I didn't want to include anything that could be combo relevant or anything. I just wanted to include a funny Destiny Hero. So we're on Dunker. I thought that was funny if we put Dunker in there. So we're playing one Dunker for Fusion Destiny. We're never really going to be playing this as an actual card. Of course, this is just a center for Fusion Destiny, although, you know, it could be anything. It could be Celestial, it could be whatever, but I wanted to put Dunker in because I thought it was funny, because I was like, the heroes. We're also on triple copies of Evil Hero Adusted Gold, allowing us to add a Dark Fusion or a card that mentions it from our deck to our hand, except for itself, by discarding it. Triple copies of Dead End Prison. If we control a fusion monster that must be special summoned with Dark Fusion, we can special summon this card from our hand. We only special summon Evil Hero Dead End Prison once per turn this way. We can send a hero monster from our deck to the graveyard. If we fusion summon a hero monster this turn, this face-up card can be used as a substitute for any one material mentioned on the name, but all other fusion materials must be correct. We can use each effective Dead End Prison once per turn. Pretty fantastic card. It allows us to send our Sinister Necrom in order to special summon Infernal Rider from our deck in order to search out our Dark Fusion from our deck, which is just a nice +1. We're also on, of course, the Infernal Rider, which doesn't just search our Dark Fusion, but will also search Super Poly if we have a stacked graveyard, which is quite nice, and Sinister Necrom, which is either a good discard or a good send to the graveyard off of our Dead End Prison. For our for our one-of searchable cards, we're on 1 Miracle Fusion, 1 Dark Calling, 1 Dark Fusion, 1 Dark Contact, 1 Favorite Contact, and then we're also on triple copies of Nightmare Throne, Spirit of Yubel, and Yubel for our Yubel package, including a Nightmare Pain and Eternal Favorite. What's funny is with our Flame Wingman Infernal Rage, this will add a favorite card from our deck to our hand. That will include Favorite Contact or Eternal Favorite, which is quite nice. Favorite Contact is also quite useful because it can special summon on our opponent's turn a monster from our extra deck that mentions a hero as material, which of course could include Destiny Hero, Phoenix Enforcer. It could also include cards like an Infernal Rage if somehow we put it back, or we can summon a Neos Lord if we use materials from our field. For our Yubel cards, like I already mentioned them, but the main idea is we just go Nightmare Throne, destroy from our deck Spirit of Yubel to special summon a normal Yubel from our deck, and then during the course of our turn we can use it as material in order to special summon a Neos Lord, or we can use it to summon functionally anything else, and then once our Yubels are in the graveyard, we can shuffle them back in order to fuse into a Phantom of Yubel, which is just an interaction point. We're also on generic fusion cards of triple fusion deployment in order to get either Neos or Yubel out on our side of the field. We're also on edge imps of Chain, triple copies of Patchwork, triple copies of Polymerization, and the 1 copy of Super Polymerization. In our extra deck, we're on double copies of Neos Lord, 1 copy of Rainbow, 1 copy of Neos Kluger, which does nothing but just protects itself and floats, 1 copy of Brave Neos, 1 copy of Phantom of Yubel, 1 copy of Malicious Bane, a Darkest Night, Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, Sunrise, a Defender Forever since we are on Super Poly and Eternal Favorite, 1 copy of Infernal Rage, 1 copy of Garura, again for Super Poly reasons, 1 copy of Dracostapelia for Super Poly reasons, and we can just make it if we don't lock ourselves, and lastly 1 copy of Vision Hero Trinity as the last card in our extra deck. But of course these could quite literally be almost anything because this deck isn't a deck, like it's barely a deck. And then in our side deck, since we are going to try and play a best of 3 in ranked, I am including basically every single relevant hand trap, as well as triple copies of Dark Ruler No More, in case we go against a deck and we're forced to go second for some reason. For example, in this situation where we win a game, and we don't really think we're able to break their board, even if we hand trap them to death, Dark Ruler No More can assist us in dealing with it. But that's about it for the deck profile. Let's go into a test game in ranked and see if we're actually able to do anything with this strategy. Alrighty, here we are. We are doing our rock, paper, scissors here. Let's go for rock. We do manage to win it, so let's try and go first. And we open pretty bad, pretty poorly. We see 3 of our searchable cards and 1 card we want to send to graveyard. But we do have a Patchwork, so hopefully this resolves. Otherwise, we're just super polying and passing. Or setting a super poly and passing, rather, by pitching our Necrom, but... So they do have an Ash, which is unfortunate, but that is just how the cookie crumbles. We're going to set 3 in, we are going to pass. Let's see what our opponent's playing, probably something that actually accomplishes something. Hopefully they do play into a Garura or a Dracostapelia, although we can't really... sure. We can't really rely on them summoning a fusion, so Garura is our best bet. They are on Mitsurugi, so we can potentially Garura. We just need them to put a couple important guys on board. They're just going to go through their Mitsurugi plays. We're just going to toggle off. We don't really care at all what they're doing. We're just going to wait for their end board and they go to combat, and we're just going to try and wipe them. Here they're gonna ritual summon. They're probably gonna ritual summon the big man just to get a negate, so we're gonna have to discard a card. Of course, we're not gonna have to discard a card because, oh, actually, they're not summoning the negate because Super Poly can't be responded to. There's Knight Sword Serpent, and they're adding that card right back to hand. They are using it again in order to ritual summon from deck. Here they're going for the other 8, I imagine. Yep. Yep, it is an activated effect, so they can't respond to the Super Poly, which we are cool with. And they're going to resummon their Habakiri. They are on the Ryziel build, so they're going to normal summon Ice. They're going to go for Ice effect. They're going to get a Sword. They're going to go Sword effect. They're going to get an X. And then here I imagine they're going to go for a duo drive with Ice and Sword, or Ice and Night Serpent. So it is Ice and Night Serpent to go for their duo drive, and then they're going to probably go duo drive in order to grab Field Spell in the new one. Or Node. They could also grab Node. Completely possible. They're grabbing Star Ryziel and plugin, so they're going to grab the Field Spell off of Star. We could actually interact here. We could use out their duo drive, but they don't actually have a material they're able to use, so we're just going to wait for the detonator. Gusto Emerald. Interesting. And then you summon their Star Ryziel. Star Ryziel is going to be able to grab them the Field Spell, I imagine. Yep. We don't care about the Field Spell, like, at all, so whatever. They're going to go plug-in in order to special summon out a Sword Ryziel. And then they're going to probably go for a Detonator, as well as attaching material to duo. Well, they do have lethal here, so... But they do want to play into Nibiru, it looks like. That's fine. I don't know why they would keep playing into Nibiru like this. This board does lose to Nibiru at this junction, which is very funny. Because they don't have the Field Spell flipped up, and now they do, so now they don't lose into Nibiru. But Nibiru actually has a really funny interaction with Murakumo, where you can pitch into Nibiru, it'll just tribute everything and no one gets any tokens. They're going to put some cards back in order to draw a card. And they're going to try and move to the next phase. We're going to let them. They're going to swing with their duo drive. We're going to let that go through. We're going to wait for them to swing with their Mitsurugi stuff before interacting. Because that's what we can use to fuse away into... Actually, we might actually interact here. Yeah, we'll interact here. We'll Super Poly. We'll make a Garura. They do get to draw a card off the Fool Loss if they activate it at the start of their turn. They're gonna go the Mitsurugi special summon. But it can't attack directly, so it's fine. They're going to destroy all my cards, which is also fine. 31 plus 19 is not lethal. We're going to force them to just use the negate, I guess. They also have Call by the Grave. Okay, we are absolutely never ever winning this game. We can activate this? Let's go Eternal Favorite. Let's try and bait out the Murakumo. We did manage to bait out the Murakumo, so let's go Favorite Contact now. And we can make a Malicious Bane. Now, what does Malicious Bane do? Nothing. It does nothing. Don't worry. But it can't be destroyed by another card effect, which is nice, so it is quite sticky for them to actually have to deal with. So we're just going to take 200 here, and we're going to take another 400, and we're actually going to have a monster to end our turn with, which is something, I guess. I also don't know why they didn't cross-negate the Garura, but I guess it's whatever. Maybe it can't be activated at the damage step, or... No? I mean, they could have. I don't know. That's strange. Maybe they thought that we were on something a little bit more competent. They're gonna go X-dump Twins in order to summon itself. And do they just have the node? No, they're just summoning X. Okay. We draw a Patrick for turn, which is somewhat useful. We're gonna go Malicious Bane here. Yeah, we'll pitch a card. We'll pitch a Jump Chain. And then they're gonna negate our Malicious Bane. We're gonna go Chain. They're gonna go Ash Blossom. We're gonna go Patchwork. They're gonna go Detonator to pop our Eternal Favorite, I guess. Sure. We'll grab 2 cards. Then we'll go for a Poly. We can make a Drigus Apelia. That's funny. Or we could just remake the Garura, but this is, of course, is the end of the game. We really can't do anything against them. So we're just gonna surrender, and we're gonna see if maybe we're able to do anything game 2. We're just gonna, finish. We're gonna try going first again. So ideally, we're gonna open somewhat more playable. But, we're against Ryzeal Mitsurugi, so, can't get our hopes up. Alrighty, so they finished intensely deciding what they're going to be setting against us, so let's try going first again. Significantly more playable this time, which is quite nice. Do they have a Mulcharmy for us? It looks like they have a Mulcharmy for us. Yeah, they definitely have one. Yep. Okay, let's go for Nightmare Throne. We'll go through Throne Effect, we'll pop a Spirit. We're just going to play into Mulcharmy. We have no game into Mulcharmies at all with this deck, so we're just going to, give them as many draws as they really want. We'll go for Fusion Deployment here. We will reveal Neos Kluger. We'll summon a Neos from deck. We're going to go for a Polymerization. Here, we are just going to summon our Neos Kluger. We're going to go Patchwork here. We're going to Poly and Chain. And here we're able to go into a Phantom of Yubel. I'm just debating what else we're really able to do, which isn't very much, to be completely honest. Let's just go into our Phantom and let's just call it a day. Summon out Phantom of Yubel. And yeah, I mean, that's really the best we can do. Kluger plus Phantom. Oh my god, it's Neos! I love Neos, I love Hero! Yeah! If you can't tell, I'm not really a big fan of Hero. I don't like the design of the cards. I don't like how they keep getting more and more support cards. Sorry to all you Hero fans out there, but I mean, you have the biggest archetype in the entire game and it's still barely playable, so I mean, they're gonna destroy my board, which is fine, I guess, because we were able to summon a Neos Wise Man out of my deck. And I guess we'll stop the Night Sword Serpent while we still can use our Phantom Yubel. Force them to use the negate off of the Ame. Do we want to discard a card? No, not really. Let's try for Kluger effect. If they Ash this, they're the biggest baby in the world. Are you gonna Ash or call by this? No, okay. Cool. Epic. We have gotten the epic win con on the board. They now have no way to win. We have the epic swag win con. Yeah, this card like does nothing. That's fantastic. And let's just let them go through all their actions. I'm just probably gonna speed up this portion until they kill us. No, they're gonna out the Wise Man. They're big fat fucking baby. They can't deal with our Wise Man. No! No! We do have Spirit of Yubel still. How much that's actually gonna accomplish is, you know, up in the air, of course. They have already used their negate, but I imagine they're gonna get the field spell by the time they go to combat. So I really don't want to sit through Ryzeo combo. If I wanted to sit through Ryzeo combo, I would just go to like locals and play. But yeah, that's functionally going to be the end of the video. Thank you all, sir, for watching if you still are. Don't play this deck, fun fact. This deck really sucks. I just wanted to do a little thought experiment in Yu-Gi-Oh! Today. My next videos are actually going to be real decks, so stay tuned for the end of those. Thank you to my one member, thank you, Ari. If you want to become a member, please stay tuned to the rest of the video. Near the end, I always go over the benefits of becoming a member, but again, that's going to be all for me. Thank you all so much for watching. If you still are, I'll be seeing you all later. Bye-bye. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you wanted to talk to more Yu-Gi-Oh! Players like yourself, I would highly recommend checking out our Discord server. Link is going to be in the description, as well as the QR code on screen. We do talk somewhat frequently about Yu-Gi-Oh! And the current meta, so I would really enjoy to see you there. As well as we do recently now have channel memberships available on our YouTube channel, where we have 3 different tiers. We have Super Supporter at $2 a month, where you get loyalty badges, emojis, guaranteed comment responses, a shout out at the end of every video, as well as access to the members only Discord channel, where you get early sneak peeks at future videos. There is the Giga Supporter at $5 a month, where you have early access to all new videos about a day or two before they go up, as well as all the previous offers. And for $15 a month, we do have our final tier, which is going to be Femboy Fanatic. You get a guaranteed customized video every single month, as well as 1 hour of my time. Could be for anything you'd like. You want a duel? Absolutely. You want me to help build a deck? Absolutely. You want to play some Helldivers? Sure. I'll do anything for an hour once a month. But supporting does help me out quite a lot, and it does help me produce all of these videos. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll be seeing y'all later. Bye bye.